front.
Oh, I didn't see you
Welcome to
added
Talking
one
with
awesome.
Famous People. Let me take these construction materials out of the camera view there because they're blocking the view. These pipes I got them laying down some new steel pipes outside. Anyway, Zachary, go.
Tony,
I thought you had the
how
idea.
did?
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I thought you were
this
passing the
is
buck
the
to him.
idea.
I thought you were passing the buck to him. Okay.
Tony, how did you come across cognitive mechanisms, functions, and MBTI in general, and how long did it take you to figure out you were an ENFP?
I first stumbled across MBTI maybe 2 years ago. Temporarily, I looked into it for maybe a week. Um, I'm an information hoarder, so I go online and just go on different blogs and websites and YouTube channels, and lo and behold, I found MBTI, took the test, read all the profiles. At one point, I thought I was INFP, but then ENFP related to me the most, right? But then my friend told me, don't believe in that bullshit. It's not even a real science. It's not a hard science. It's just a soft pseudoscience. So I was like, no, I mean, this thing describes me pretty well. It's pretty observable. But then, my NE kicked in. I was like, you know what? No, I don't want to be pigeonholed into this. This takes away my potential to be whoever I really am, right? So I left that, and then fast forward until now, or maybe around 4 months ago, I spent maybe a month actually looking into the cognitive functions from different websites, and then kind of figured out the types of my friends, my family, and then try to see not just the behaviors, but the actual functions at play, right? And then that's how I kind of became a slightly more competent than surface level MBTI knowledge. Would that answer suffice?
I will say that, yeah. I will say that being exposed to
No, it's
cognitive
totally
functions
anachronistic.
it changed my complete perception of how I interact with others now. One of the first things I think about when I first meet people now is I try to, well, I guess I did it to an extent before. I just wasn't as aware of it as I am now, but trying to identify, how they interact and how they reason with the world and identify their cognitive mechanisms and whatnot. But a lot of people who, it's weird when you get to the semantics of soft science, pseudoscience, whatnot. I think that a lot of people view MBTI they see the personality test online and they think that's where the theory is, like in the test, which is complete nonsense. I
That's
think
where most of the criticism is on the test itself. Yeah. Sorry.
And I'm pretty sure the actual MBTI, you have to pay money to take it too, don't you? So it's like, I can understand the criticism there. But if you look into the cognitive functions, going back to, what Jung theorized to describe certain behavior, I don't think it's too far to suggest that there are mechanisms which we use cognitively to process and judge information from the external world. And it's our best attempt to identify these mechanisms and the ways in which we prefer each mechanism, and each individual uses them differently. And I think it's way more in depth once you look into it, and I think it does not a perfect job, but it does a very nice job of explaining a lot of behavior. And I think it's helped me not only understand myself better, but the interactions with my peers and my family and et cetera a lot better.
I'd like to chime in on that topic too, on the pseudoscience thing, by saying this. If anybody says something like that about it being pseudoscience, quote unquote, I would say the following thing. I'd say, oh, can you please explain the criterion by which you adjudicate such models? Can you please explain the criterion by which you adjudicate such models? Which is say, okay, fair enough. how do you distinguish between that which is pseudoscience and not pseudoscience? Let me get your thinking first, so we can analyze whether it's accurate or not. Now, what you're going to find in all circumstances is, even if you were to explain that in simple words, they don't know why they've come to that conclusion. They don't know why they've come to that conclusion. They'll make up some bullshit because the real reason is they're probably an ENTP who's just being contrary, or they might be an INTP who's feeling as NE that day and is just being contrary.
I have an INTJ friend who he says that it isn't. Well, he rejects that he's an INTJ, and he says that since you cannot empirically observe the functions, that therefore it has no scientific or empirical basis. But my argument for that is, to what extent is examining the mechanisms of someone's psyche? How do you define empirical observation of someone's conscious functions?
That's the first question. How do you define empirical basis? Or can you give me some examples of some models that you do think are sound, and explain to me why they are sound in a way that is distinct from the one that you say is unsound?
Mm-hmm. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
I don't have an answer for that, but I think what I have heard is that they do compare it to something like the Big Five, right?
That's
a lot more, I think, sturdy when it comes to research and even being usable in the workplace.
If that's your fucking vector, now look, this is the only way your it's not real science thing or whatever. The only vector on which they win is size of the stack of research. In other words, the amount of fucking papers that back the idea up. As though they're not going to believe in the truth of something until double-blind studies establish whether or not it's accurate. As though those double-blind studies would show generally not very strong correlations between things and draw at best hesitant conclusions about the causal relationships between things, that, I'm going to function in a world where I am going to withhold judgment to such extent. Well, as a matter of fact, you've done the opposite. You're casting judgment, and you're casting judgment willy-nilly by making your default setting not good enough. In other words, you're seeking reasons for things to be inadequate to give you information. And there we get to the heart of the matter. What is the purpose of this model that you grant the status of adequate towards, and what is the purpose of this model that you grant the status of inadequate towards? And ultimately understand how does that function for you in your life? Now that you've written this idea off as inadequate, explain to me the utilitarian gains in your own life from having done so, and or what it's freed you up to think about instead, that kind of thing, or what it's allowed you to be freed from. If they want to claim that, well, see, I don't have to limit myself because I don't think I'm a type. You say, how many different ways can you imagine? How many different ways can you imagine interacting with a space? Infinite? You're in a blank room. How many different kinds of ways can you interact with it? I can interact with many different ways. Well, give something to me. And they'll start listing you. And you go, okay. And you point out, so you mean you'll deal with it as a physical object. Oh, so you mean you'll think about it abstractly as a model. Oh, so you mean you'll come up with a recipe or a protocol or an algorithm. Oh, so you mean you'll cry, So, you mean you'll read their facial expressions, is that right? Oh, I see. Can you come up with any other ways besides these to interact with this environment? Is this all the ways you can come up with? Let's look at the ways you just stated. Now, are you still claiming there are infinite possible perspectives through which you could approach this room? Can you come up with more? No, you can't. Okay. All you guys do is prove me wrong. Come up with another example. Find me something that doesn't fit into one of those categories.
I think it's like kind of this is a very fragile theory that I'm going to say, and I may misrepresent the argument, but I think I look at kind of or I approach metaphysics kind of how Kant did. Are you guys familiar with Immanuel Kant? the philosopher.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. We're pretty much like, to put it in like simple terms, he pretty much proposed the idea of metaphysics that there's no the attributes of certain objects within the external world, and the traits by which we interact with those objects, like the spatiotemporality of them and whatnot, is required on our cognitive receptivity to those objects. So it requires our cognitive faculty to apply traits and interact with the world. So basically, objects don't have those innate traits until they are interacted by our cognitive faculties. And so I think that, and I think Jung kind of hit on this too, where then we must find a way to categorize and identify ways in which our cognitive faculties interact with the world, and identify this information and store this information, and etc.
That's Steve Young, right? Former quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. I believe is the individual who Zachary's explaining right there. But what I would say about Kant, what you mentioned about the objects not having those innate qualities until the agent engages in the perception of them. Do they have those? Are those qualities then innate once the agent perceives them, or is the quality that is perceived as innate to the object a time object within the agent?
So are you saying that once the cognitive faculty have interacted with the object, then that information is innate to the object?
That's the way you phrased it when you explained it. You said it's not innate to the object until it's cognited upon.
Well, I don't think it's innate at all.
Okay.
Now I may be misrepresenting Kant's argument here.
Who cares
because
what
I
Kant's
still have
argument is? Who the fuck cares what Kant's argument is? The point is the argument
because,
itself.
Well, because he's one of the.
Kant can go fucking jump off a building. I don't give a fuck about Emmanuel. Oh, that was my idea. Fuck you, Kant. Go back to your fucking strip club in Stuttgart.
Well, I think that putting it in Zachary terms, then I think that the idea of space and time is linked to our cognitive faculties. I don't think it's innate in the world. It's kind of like the traits of objects that we interact with in the world aren't necessarily innate. They are defined once we have perceived and interact with them. So that's how I would describe it. And then I would say that in the cognitive faculties is what caused us to develop theories such as the cognitive functions of individuals in psychology.
Wait, what caused us to develop research of that, or the thinking about that?
The cognitive functions. A lot of them were kind of
just the last sentence you said before you stopped. You don't remember.
The fact that the cognitive faculties aren't that they're not traits innate into the world around us. Traits are not innate to objects in the world, and space and time are relative to our cognitive faculties. So they aren't defined until we interact with the world.
Time and space aren't defined, or the objects aren't defined?
Time and space aren't defined. Okay, time and space are defined when we interact with objects. Our cognitive faculties interacting with the world is what gives them their spatiotemporality.
Okay. If Natalie were here, she'd think you were obviously shooting heroin right now. That's the sort of shit Natalie cannot fucking tolerate within 100 miles. She doesn't want to do within 100 miles of that. Tony, you got any thoughts on this philosophy stuff?
Well, I mean, it seems to me Jung valued the subjective experience, and he was able to observe it with hundreds, if not thousands, of patients, and and then he was able to see the differences or the nuances of these different cognitive faculties, and he was able to find patterns in them, so much so that he was able to create a framework, and that framework was seemed pretty valid in terms of being able to repeatedly observe them amongst people, right, humans with minds.
But the ones without minds, they were really discriminated against.
Yeah, no, those poor mindless non-beings.
I think that's the blemish on Jung's record. Please continue, Tony.
Thank you, Eric. No, I mean, for the most part, I don't disagree with anything when it comes to when we're saying, the subjective experience is what makes reality, right? Or yeah, I think that's why we now have a branch of what's called phenomenology, right? The actual subjective experience, right? That actually counts for something. That information is useful and can be tested. Or we can. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, my bad for interrupting. I just I want to chime in with some thoughts on phenomenology. First of all, it's a difficult word to say without adding extra syllables.
Yes.
Next, I would like to talk about the word delineation. This is another word where it's difficult to say without adding an extra syllable. So I want to say, let's all engage in a phenomenological. Is that how you say it?
Phenomenology.
Phenomenological delineation. Phenomenological delineation. So can we all please? I would like us to write a PhD thesis, and I'd like the topic of our respective PhD, because we all need PhDs. Really,
I need a license for a PhD.
Okay, I really think we're gonna get these PhDs. I might have quadrupleinstitute.org give us PhDs. It's possible. Okay,
So
I really think you should be Dr. ENFP Tony, Dr. ENFP host Tony, PhD.
I'm changing my name right now.
I'm kind of just okay. Well, to explain my ramblings earlier. Okay, recently I've been looking to
fucking INTP. Go.
To explain my ramblings earlier, recently I've been looking at continental philosophy, right? Like the thinkers like Heidegger and whatnot, and Immanuel Kant, and I think it ties in with the types because the types are there to understand our cognitive faculties. As far as it is to my understanding, of to metaphysics, it goes back to, is the scientific method the best way to understand phenomena in the world? Because there are things that the scientific method fails to account for, and that one of the most obvious things is ethics, which is still sort of in a metaphysical realm, so to speak. That we are, it's hard to come to those moral absolutes. So it's kind of like a lot of the, to my understanding, a lot of the continental philosophers were kind of going back, undermining traditional metaphysics in the sense that we have to look at both interactions between our external world and like you said, the subjective experience, and it is through both of those connections which we should base a lot of our information on. Now, I probably butchered the shit out of that because I'm still studying it, and so I'm kind of rambling right now. I'm making connections.
Hey, Zach, let me tell you what you're doing is you're riding that horse, and it's starting to buck on you a little bit, but you're still holding on, and you're holding on with one hand with your hat in the other hand, like this, like rodeo style. Okay, and all you gotta do is hold on for 8 seconds, and you're fine. Anyway, I wanted to talk about you talked about this external world, subjective experience, all that sort of stuff, and then but there was something else. Hold on, fuck, what was it? I didn't write it down quick enough. Oh, right. I'm concerned. I'm concerned because Zachary indicated that he's undermining traditional metaphysics, and
That was the goal of the continental philosophers, I think.
we rely on those traditional metaphysics to hold up such important institutions as deontology, ontology, and aesthetics. I'm concerned that you're threatening those important institutions. Should I be concerned, Zachary?
Small threats. It's such a small threat. It's just a student, like a undergrad.
It's questioning. I'm currently okay in my course of philosophy, so to speak. I'm a baby, and I'm seeing shit right now, in my life where I'm questioning things, but I'm still making those connections. So all these ramblings that came out of asking Tony about his interest in cognitive functions and whatnot are all things that I'm still like. I'm pretty much vocalizing the thought process that go on in my head daily right now, and they're
bare. I wonder.
Yeah, you lagged out there, Zach.
I wonder
So
what
I'll
he meant
speak.
by that. Go ahead, Tony.
I'll speak for you while you're connecting back again, Zach. So, I mean, what I find interesting is observing your mind trying to ride this you try to grasp onto a concept and your experience with the world and what you're trying to figure out what's going on. And for me, because I'm interested in people, I just like looking at your mind, trying to grasp on that, right? With whatever mechanisms you have. And then Eric is just like, I don't know. What do you think of that?
I mean, well, what I do is I observe us each displaying our type behaviors one after the other, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you talked about, did I make notes on that? I think I tried to.
okay. I'm back.
When
Horrible
you-
time to DC.
When you talked about, God damn it, I didn't write it down.
Phenomenology. Well,
Yeah, perhaps when you're talking about how Jung, when you talk about the Jungian ideas, right? So
Yeah.
first of all, Zachary approaches it very much like a college class might, except a super advanced one that's actually taught by a good professor. Okay, so I mean, because I that class, I would be able to comfortably sit in that class, listen to that lecture, and feel like you were going fast enough. So that means you could teach graduate school. It does.
Who are you talking to?
Zachary, you. I'm saying that's
Wait, really?
That's yeah, of course, easily. Listen, we
That's very
overestimate.
flattering.
It's not that flattering. That's the thing. We overestimate the ability of these people who have titles by a vast amount. You are smarter than your professors. Am I right or wrong, Zachary? Except for the dead one. God bless him, rest in peace. Okay, but I mean, are you smarter than him?
It depends on the one.
You're smart
I
enough
feel
to
like
be
that's
that
really.
objectively
I feel like
self-critical.
that's really pretentious to answer that. I don't want to say.
I know.
Don't force me to
Okay,
answer.
I won't. Hey, Zachary. The point is this. The point is this. Yes, you absolutely could because you can hang. I mean, look, it's not, because that's the thing. It's not necessarily about training or whatever. Obviously, there are some. There are occasionally like water lilies that grow in the desert for some reason. They just land on some particularly moist sand. And they're like, okay, I'll grow here. And there's like a frog, and like a bunch of flies around that frog for it to eat, and then just nothing else but fucking white, hot desert sand all around it. That's the story of Zach. Anyway, but the point is, you display this behavior. I get off track, right? I'm displaying my type now. Zachary displays his type. It's very organized, college professory. Now, Eric, we need to get back on topic here. You've gone away. You've started to make your jokes again, and we need to get back to the topic of this important philosophical issue, right? Now, Tony, when you're talking about Jung, you're talking about the person Jung and how he led these people to accomplish these things and to come up with this idea, and how he observed them and how he got the scientists. And for you, it's a story of human agency, as is totally consistent with your type. And
Yes.
for me, I just want to make fucking jokes all the time, right?
I think you should.
Because
You should.
because I'm disrupt first but not with FI where I feel about like, concerned about people first, but I'm not a bad person, so I don't like throw things at you or whatever, So the equivalent of that is interrupt to make a joke. Ha 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 ha. Okay, good job, Eric. Now can we get back to talking about this important philosophical idea? And then you're like, yeah, Kant was a really good guy, and he was really smart and passionate, and that's why he had those good ideas.
Yeah, it's like I think my my preference for human agency. I was talking about Jung, but I was like, for me, I was just trying to discuss with Zach, right? But if Eric's preference to play is more powerful, then I'm gonna go sway towards like whoever's has a larger need. I'm gonna go towards the larger need. That's where my feeling for me is gonna go towards.
That's weird. You go to the larger need.
Yeah.
So you anticipate how much we need?
Yeah, no. So I mean, I saw or I observed, Zach was really trying to wrestle with these ideas, and I'm like, okay, I wanna join in on that, and help him do that, or just participate in that. But then now I see Eric observing our preferences, so I'm like, okay, now I want to observe too. I want to observe
me observing you.
Myself observing myself. Yeah. I think.
Now listen, we should make this an official psychological protocol. We should write papers about it with our quadruple PhDs and be like,
oh my god,
no. The only real way to do psychological analysis now is to observe somebody observing the person who's observing them. And we've done a bunch of studies to prove this. Okay, we got the same 4 people, and I'm gonna do this study 50 times.
Yeah, every PhD in 2016 should have at least 2 levels of meta transcendence. Because I think everything's becoming more meta. I think meta is just a good thing to play with there.
Now look, here's the thing: quadruple, it's called a PhDs. Okay. It's got an S on the end. So it's not, we're not lying. We're not saying it's an actual PhD. It's a PhDs. That's different. This stands for Dr. Smokin of philosophy or something like that. I don't know. I have to think about it some. But anyway, when you have a quadruple PhD, that's the only way you can really say you're an expert on something. Now, let's say I have a regular PhD. I've got a PhD in, let's say, anthropology, and somebody comes to me and say, "Hey, here's some plate mail. When did it come from? Which people used it?" And you'd be like, "I don't know." But if you have a quadruple PhD, you'll say, "I don't know, but that must be the right answer because I'm licensed."
When did your fascination with quadruple start, and how did that emerge? What other types of elation? What other types of elation have you experienced that caused you to?
I haven't experienced that kind of elation yet. I'm still trying to experience it.
Yeah. Well, how do you picture it if you had to predict how it would feel like?
I lie in bed at night and dream of. It's gonna be a rush. It's gonna be an orange rush of joy. It's gonna be about 80% joy, about 15%, I guess you'd say, super hooray, and about 4% excitement and 2% pleasure and 1% malaise. That mixes together, elation. Boom. I'm looking. So, I don't know. I'm just guessing. I haven't experienced it. I don't know.
Exactly. So who would be in your quadruple? It would be an ESFJ?
I got my INTP here. I think I can count on Zach to be my quadruple. Can I count on you, Zach, to be my INTP?
Indeed, sir.
Okay,
I'll be your INTP, bro.
So we need 2 more
INTP.
people. We need ESFJ.
Yeah.
And ISFJ.
I can set something up, but
that'd be fantastic. I want
Yeah.
a quadruple. That's all you got to do to have a quadruple. You got to have your 4 quadrant mates. Can we verify that I have the quadrant mates right? Oh, you know what? They're probably P's because it's backwards. I might have it backwards. The eyes. The
Oceanics,
eyes
right?
might be P's. The eyes might be P's. So let's go figure that out right now. Okay, so I'll say
Are you gonna check it? I'm not gonna check it.
I'm gonna check
Can you
it.
check it?
It's hard to
Okay.
find you couldn't find it if you Googled quadruple. You wouldn't be able to find it.
No, I was
But if you
gonna. I came across another website. Oh fuck! It was so good. Um, hmm. Basically, there was another combination of types where it would be me, an ENTP, an ESFP, and someone else. But basically, we would have a terrible time, right?
you found
Yeah.
the count. You found the anti quadruple.
Yeah, it was terrible. Okay, here's the caveat: we we were on acid, so it was fucking terrible. It was such a bad trip.
Wait. So wait, you anti quadrupled on acid? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, basically. Except it was just me.
Wait, okay. What are the semantics of quadrupling again? I know that's so ti to say, but I'm lost.
Two quadruple is to spend time with 3 and only 3 other people. Each other person being an example of one of the other 3 types in your quadrant. So
What's the quadrant?
the quadrant is made up of the alpha quadra, which is the one that I'm in, and you're in INTP. You are also alpha quadra. We are the quadra is here. Let me explain it to you. Or not explain it, but read it to you. A quadra is a group of 4 socionic types which have the same valued elements, i.e. the same elements as their first, second, fifth, and sixth functions. So my first and second function are NE, TI. My fifth function is NI, and my sixth function is TE. Right? So, it says right here, alpha's value TINE, FE, and SI, but wait, why does it say fifth and sixth? Oh, I see. Oh, okay. There's value TISE, FE, and NI.
So basically, so it's the people who are opposite to your functions. So, for example, those are the people who are in your quadrant. So, people who share your functions. Is that what it is?
And it's not just share. It's not share your functions. It's I don't know. I'm trying to find the list. Just a simple fucking list of 4 types.
Yeah. If I had to kind of.
Oh, here they are. ILE, which is I'm sorry to cut you off. Let me just say the 4 types: ILE, SEI, ESE, and LII. I will convert those right now. ILE is ENTP. And then LII is INTP. SEI is ISF. What would be P or J? I get the fucking P or J confused. Let's see. It's extroverted. Extroverted sensing ethical. Okay, so this would be ESFP, and that would be for sure extroverted sense. Yeah, that's ESFP. And then LII I already did. Oh, SEI. That's the one I'm having trouble with. Fucking SEI. What is that?
So what's the point of quadrupling?
All right. So SEI is okay. Here's the cognitive function stack for SEI. It goes SI, FE, fucking NI. I don't know.
if I have to describe it to you, Zach, basically, they're in socionics. They figured out many different combinations of different types, right? So whether four people have basically there's different. If each type is an ingredient, there's different ways, different patterns you can combine four ingredients, and they would come out with a particular type of vibe, if you will. So some of them will make you feel very at ease. Some of them will make you feel very stressed out. Some of them will make you very, a lot of conflict. Some of them will create tension. Some of them will create a lot of maybe envy. Depending on the order of those, the combination of your cognitive functions.
All right,
I'm just trying to really find a website.
It is ESFJ, ISFJ, and INTP and ENTP are my quadruple. Now, ENFJ, your quadruple would be, He's
in the ENFP.
What? That's what I said. Did I say ENFP or no? What did I say?
You said ENFJ.
You said ENFJ.
Oh, my bad. Okay, so ENFP, that would be like this, maybe? Okay. ENFJ. Oh, I see. EIE is ENFJ.
Oh, I fucking found it. Yes, okay.
Who's Meta?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, that's you, I see.
I am.
That's Tony.
Robert's here. Let's see if Robert's got decent internet this time. We'll find out.
Oh, Robert's been here for like 10 minutes. I didn't mention it.
Oh. Robert, do you have a camera or what? Yeah, he's just listening, I guess. Okay.
Oh, man. Yeah, so I'm going to post it here. Zach, you should definitely take a look at this. It's very interesting.
Right on.
Where's ENFP? There it is. IEE. IE. That's what you are, host Tony. You're IE. IE. Oh God, I hate. That's the sort of thing that my ITI gets tired. I don't want to think that shit through. I think that may be almost a TE thing. I don't want to think through that fucking process of going, wait, okay, so this means that, and that means this, with mechanical shit.
Yeah.
I only want to think like that if I feel like I'm breaking new ground, which is ridiculous. I'm not breaking new ground. I'm just coming up with interesting ways to say it or something. I don't know. Okay, so IEE, you are in the which quadrant? You are in. Why do they make this so fucking difficult to find?
Delta.
Delta? Oh, you're Delta?
Delta quadrant.
Okay, do you know who else is in your quadrant?
IST. Fuck. Do you want MBTI or socionics?
I want the socionics quadrant.
Okay. ENFP, ISTP, ESTJ, INFJ.
Say it again?
That's me saying it in ENF, little p, IST, little p, ESTJ, INFJ.
Say the second one again, please.
So, yeah. In socionic terms, it's ISTP.
Okay. So in Myers-Briggs, it's ISTJ, correct?
Yes.
All right, let's use Myers-Briggs when we're figuring out who they actually are, quote unquote. So I've got ENFP, I've got ISTJ. What is the third one?
ESTJ.
Okay, and the fourth one is INFP?
INFP.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, cool. So, Zachary, you and I have the same quadruple. Tony has a quadruple that includes it includes Cameron. Cameron's in your quadruple. He's the ISTJ. Have you ever had a quadruple, you think, yet, Tony? Already by accident or whatever?
So let's confirm. Like a quadruple in your quadruple is just people in your quadra.
It's the SFJs for me. Yeah, it's just 4 people in the quadra. SFJs and NTPs. SFJs and NTPs together.
So basically, if I brought an ENTP friend over with my parents in the room, that would be a quadruple.
Your parents are ESFJ and ISFJ? Yeah, that's right, huh? Yeah, that's a quadruple. You're one ENTP away. If you had an ENTP sibling, you'd be in a state of constant familial elation.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe my parents aren't. I don't know. If my mom is right.
You need to go get yourself an ENTP and test it. You got 3/4 of a quadruple right there. All you gotta do is bring him in. All we gotta do is kick non-quadrumate Tony the fuck out of here and get your parents in here. We have a quadruple right now.
Yeah, and if you don't want relations, there's also there's a health group, right? This would be let's see here, a group of 4 types who essentially feed off of each other's psychic energy and rejuvenate themselves. According to medical studies, after 1.5 to 2 hours of interaction, all members of these groups feel better and demonstrate normalization of objective characteristics such as blood pressure, pulse rate, and breathing rates. So for the ENTP, it would be, let's see here, ENTP, EFP, INTJ, and INFJ.
Okay, you cut out in the second one. Say them again, slower.
It would basically be all the N dominants.
Say it again, read them for me.
ENTP, ENFP, INTJ, INFJ.
ENTP, ENFP.
That makes sense.
Yeah, ENTP, ENFP, INTJ,
INFJ.
INFJ.
All the intuitive dominants.
Okay, cool. I mean,
that makes sense, right?
Yeah, it makes sense, but like the stuff that you guys can obviously both do better than I can do by far is keep that shit straight in your head. I gotta use SI. This is my SI.
Well, no, it's not easy for me.
Well, look, put it this way. It's easier for me by far, enough so that I prefer to do it this way, to just have you tell me the 4 types so that I can work with them, then try to understand the rule even by which you derive them. You said the intuitives. Well, I have to think that through. There's some thinking that has to go on there.
Gotcha. I gotcha.
All right. Yeah. So anyway, this really, I think this literally is. This is my saying. Okay, this is significant. Let's employ that 4th function. We're gonna combine NE and SI now, guys. You know what? It happens. I realize it happens in 2 places in my life. Really, it happens in debate. And it's happening right now. I'm trying to keep track of what's going on here in the round. SI and NE are in coordination with one another. But it looks like this. I mean, this is not what anybody would call good SI. That doesn't look like very neat notes. But it does the job.
Mm-hmm.
See, I missed the segue into quadruple. I was trying to justify my rambling, and I DC'd and came back in, and I got kind of typhooned into this. So I've just had to like infer.
Okay,
What's
well,
been going on?
basically, I don't know if you've been on Google News, but Tony was telling me about some hot action on the quadruple markets, where he invested earlier in a company that specializes in quadruple master's degrees, and apparently he's made a killing. So I was like, quadruple PhDs, we could do better than them. We can. I already know more than those quadruple master degrees people. And so I was thinking, first, I'll get us all certified, get us all licensed with our own quadruple PhD.
I feel credible right now.
Well,
No,
you're
you
not.
need-
You're not.
yeah.
You need the PhDs.
Oh, I mean, I'm ready for the PhD.
Oh yeah, you're
I've-
ready for that. Yeah, you are. But you're not qualified for anything else until you get it. Is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Tony, you too. You're qualified. I've checked. I've been. You don't know this, but I've actually been assessing you both this whole time, testing you to see if you would be qualified for quadruple PhDs. You both passed. You both passed.
Changing
Congratulations.
my name.
Zachary, you get an A minus, 90%. Meta, 98%. Sorry, Zachary. Well, you got all the true-false questions wrong on the test. First of all, Zachary, because your answer to them was no truth value on all of them. Even the ones that did have a truth value. So you got those
How
wrong.
postmodern of me.
I know. I was like, that's. You know what? When you go folks modern, I go negative credit. Okay. Nothing past Victorian. I made that real clear at the beginning of the class. Nothing past the Victorian era is allowed in here.
What's that age with the Bronchiosaurus?
That would be dinosaur time.
Yeah, I like that
They
one.
had some nice rational. I wonder what the dinosaurs' paradigm for moral absolutes was. How they came to this?
It
Yeah.
depended on the kind of dinosaur, I imagine.
Yeah, a pterodactyl and a stegosaurus would. I don't know.
It was relative to the dinosaur tribe, so to speak, right?
What?
Types, yeah.
What's the guy with the spiky things on his head, around his head?
Stegosaurus.
Stegosaurus, yeah.
Yeah.
He's totally SE. It's like, for entertainment, Stegosaurus just runs into shit and like knocks it over and is like, yeah, fucking badass,
Yeah.
right? And then like pterodactyl is FE, I think. It's like going around checking shit out. Oh, look at that fucking brontosaurus is so enjoying that leaves right now. I'm gonna sit here on this branch. I'm gonna watch him eat. I'm gonna watch a video called "Brontosauruses React to Abundant Leaves."
And
Watch now. Watch people react. Yes. Sorry.
a plant in the prehistoric times, I think, is a ISFJ, just because they do nothing exciting, really.
ISFJs are plants. Is that what you say?
They're just prehistoric plants, or they're trilobites. Yeah, they're plants.
I like imagining this going like, okay, let's see, dinosaur time, and then attributing people like types to things. Okay, so let's do it. Pater.
Yeah.
Pater we said was was FE. FE. So
Yeah.
well, let's make it a specific type though. Which one? Which is an FE? We could make it.
Wait, can you guys explain ISFP to me? Give me like your caricature of an ISFP, if you had to
Artistic.
describe one.
Like very
I think
emotional artist with very nuanced feelings as their primary directive.
I feel like my mom is an ISFP.
I think my mom might be an ISFP or an INFP as well.
I know my mom's a sensor. I know that for sure, and I know she's a feeler, and she's introverted.
what kind of
Hey,
dinosaur?
are you talking about? Yeah. First of all, I'll tell you what kind of dinosaur an ISFP is. An ISFP is well, it's like it's something that's really doesn't move much, you know, like a dinah slug or something. But
That's a prehistoric
What are those
slug.
long-necked ones? Well, I forget the name.
okay,
Yeah.
it's a dinosaur mammal slug, okay, because it's a mammal, but it looks like a slug shape. But you know it's a mammal because it's like warm and it's got a nest, and it's got a pretty fucking decked out nest. It's like ideally,
Yeah.
it would have it has a decked out nest if it found the right male non dino mammal slug, right, to provide one for it. It has a really nice nest if that happened. Otherwise, it's got kind of a messy nest, but it's very interested in being comfortable, right? So,
Yeah.
I'd say,
And
yeah.
out of all the dinosaurs, the ISFP would have the best Instagram, like the most aesthetic Instagram, probably. They're very good with visuals, information.
Aesthetics.
And
Yeah.
the least punctuation.
Yes.
They don't like
Most
punctuation.
likely.
They don't like punctuation. They don't like capitalization. And they tend to write simple sentences. Also, if you ask them how they will feel about something a couple of years from now, they're troubled by the question.
I think my ex was an ISFP.
What makes you think that? Why did you date a dinosaur? That's weird.
It was just caught in the moment, man, you know.
What was she like? What was she like?
I know for a fact she was introverted. I'm pretty sure she was a censor. One, because she was an artist. I mean, two, just can be artists too. But like, she
For different reasons. Yeah.
everything. Like, she didn't have subtext. Okay, one time we were talking, she got pissed at me because we were chatting, and she was like, she mentioned getting a tattoo, and she was like, "What's your thoughts on tattoos?" And I was like, "I think they're absolutely disgusting and an abomination." And I was joking, right? And she got furious. And I was like, Jesus, like, I was just joking. Like, but she was like, she missed out on the subtext, you know what I mean?
Oh,
That was
hardcore.
just one of many times that happened. But I think she might have been ISTP. Her life goal is,
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I was gonna ask a question to try to distinguish. If you were to ask her, like, did you get in trouble, or would you say you stay out of trouble? If she were to say, and if she were to say she stays out of trouble, and you were to ask her how, she would say something about knowing the rules, knowing the expectations.
yeah, she would probably say that.
Would she say both those things? That she stays out of trouble, and she stays out of trouble by knowing the rules and knowing the expectations.
Yeah, I think she
Probably an
would say
ISFP.
just
That's
say that.
ISFP, man.
I think she was an ISFP. Yeah, now in retrospect,
I mean,
I remember there was one. Wait, what?
like I remember who's qualified? Is that probably another name for
That's
Tony?
That's Tony. Yeah.
Okay. And Robert is still here or what? Robert, are you here?
Nope.
Okay, I'm gonna dismiss him. If he comes back in, I'm gonna tell him you either gotta communicate with us or you know, I don't necessarily love the idea of just I don't know why I would be opposed to it. What do you guys think about that? Somebody just watching, but not participating at all in here.
It doesn't affect me honestly, but it is kind of weird that like not interacting with them because it's almost like a personal, kind of interaction, even though it's being recorded.
Right.
I'm into it.
I'm gonna stop this recording. By the way, this is an hour now. About
Dick all.
Water room.